guys? It is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got a fun one for you today. We're going to learn how to play My Hero by the Foo Fighters. All right, so this one's in standard tuning. Pretty straightforward, no crazy solos or anything going on. And we've got some little dual guitar parts, like some harmony octaves, just real short, but pretty easy to understand. So it'd be great if you at least have like a buddy to play with here to make these guitar parts sound like the recording. So let's start here with this intro. All right, so you're going to start here with the 4th fret on the B string with the open high E string. Kind of creates a dissonant sound, and then you're going to pick that again and slide into the 5th fret. And then go back down to the, so we have this, back down to the 4th fret there with the open high E. And then you go to the 4th fret on the G string. While you play, kind of just pick across randomly the B and the high E string. For this. One more time. Now, when you first hit that note on the G string, you can kind of pick across all those top 3 strings. All right, so that's basically the part that Dave Grohl plays. And then it kicks into the main chord progression that happens under the verse. All right, so that's basically mostly an E power chord. You can play a full E major there, but they don't have that note in there much. It looks like they're maybe playing an E major, but they're muting that G string with the bottom of their ring finger. So really what you want to do is just pick the bottom 3 strings, and then with an upstroke hit the top 2 strings. So, and then you're going to come to this chord, which is kind of a beefed up power chord. So it's actually a C sharp power chord. So you're going to be playing the 4th fret on the A and the 6th fret on the D string. But to beef up the sound a little bit, also add the 4th fret on the low E string with it. So it's a little bar there across the 4th fret of the the A and the low E string. So back. So it just kind of repeats between those 2 chords. Then there's a kind of a slide down the low E string. You hear that a few times. And then we have this. So that's just the low F sharp power chord here. So it's the 2nd fret on the low E string, 4th fret on the A string. Now you can play just the bottom note a couple times, and then go into the little riff, which is 4, 2 on the A, to 4 on the low E, to an A power chord, which is just the open A string with the 2nd fret on the D and the G. So you can play the full chord or just the low note. Whatever sounds good to you. So now over that we have a 2nd guitar part that does this. When those chords come in, we have this. Now that's kind of a beefed up version of that riff, which is just going to be single notes when you start doing the verse. So how to play that in the intro though, kind of slide it slightly into the 5th fret on the B string with the high E ringing with it. Then move it to the B and the G string. You're going to do a bar at the 4th fret. Across those strings, those 2 strings. And then you're going to you add the 7th fret there on the B while still playing the 4th fret on the G as well. So we have this. So it's just the 7th there on the B that I'm moving to. I'm keeping the G string the same. And then you start over again, except this time you do this. So we have those 2 4s again. It's the same way that time, but the second time you go, instead of going back to 7 to 4 again, you go 7 to 5. So all together. And then you would just kind of repeat that. All right, now when we get to the verse section of the song, it's the same underneath. But the guitar line, the little melody up there at top, moves to single notes. It looks like this. So similar to what we just did, kind of slide it into the 5th fret there on the B with the high E string, ring it with it. Then you just go to 4 on the B string, and then 7, back to 4, 7. So it's the same riff, you just don't have that note on the G string anymore. And then once again, the second time we're playing that. So when it's 7 4 7 5 instead of going 7 4 7 4. All right, so it's pretty simple there for the verse. And then we get to the chorus. Now the chorus has mostly, except for one spot, the guitars are doing the same thing. So it looks like this. So what I did there is I mixed up. The little harmony part happens just on the very last. There's like, basically you're playing the riff through 4 times. The 4th time the octaves kind of go into harmony. So I played both of them, one at the first time through and then the different one the second time through. So let's start here with just the open A power chord that we played earlier. And then we move into these octaves. Now if you're not good at playing octaves, basically it's just, you're going to play the note on the A string here, the 6th fret, and then you're going to play the note, the octave of the note at the 8th fret on the G string. Now in order to do that, you need to mute the 6th string with the tip of your index finger. You also need, with the rest of your index finger, the bottom of your index, you need to mute that D string in between those and the high E string and the B. So we have this. So I can hit all 6 strings, but you're just hearing those 2 notes. So once you get used to that grip, you know, then you can just do the melody. So I'm going to call out the melody notes just by where the index finger's at. So it's the 6th fret right now, but this shape will stay the same. 6, 7, 9. So we have this from the A chord. 6, 7, 9. Then you go back to the A chord. You're just hitting this straight 8th feel. And then we go 6, 7, 4. So all together we have this. All right, now from here we go to an E power chord. So it's just like the A, just move everything down to low E and then low open E string in the 2nd fret of the A. And then we start back with that same 6, 7, 9 melody with the octaves. And then back to the E's again. Now we're basically the 4th melody with the octaves, this is where the harmony part comes in. So both guitars have been doing the same thing so far. But now here, one guitar, the upper harmony part will look like this. So that's coming after the second hit on the low E's. And those notes are 9, 11, 6. So I'll just do the E parts here. All right, now the second guitar part, like I said, does everything for the first three octave parts are the same, except the last one, coming out of the second hit of the E's, their octave harmony part looks like this. So that happens when the other one's doing this. All right, so what are those notes? It's 6, 7, 2. It's harmonizing that top line in thirds. So all together from just the E part of the lower harmony part. And then it just repeats the chorus, goes back to the A and does the same. And right here, depending on what part you're going to do, you're going to do 9, 11, 6, or 6, 7, 2 to end it. And it has that same little riff to get us back to the verse there. All right, now there's a little transition lick that Dave Grohl plays, and it looks like this. So that's similar to the intro. You're picking this 4th fret on the B string with the high E open, then sliding it just like the intro. But when you get to this 4th fret on the G string, you hear that open B string in there too. And he does a kind of a bend and release on the 4th fret there. And then we're back to the second verse there. Okay, so the only other part we really have to check out is the breakdown section, which Dave Grohl once again is playing this little part right here, and he kind of brings the dynamics down a touch, and it sounds like this. And then it goes back to those same chords. So that is very similar to the intro. So it's the same thing that we did in the intro. And then once again, the second time through, you're gonna do that bend and release again that we did earlier on the 4th fret there. And then continue just kind of picking across the B and the high E strings. It doesn't really need to be, you know, it's not a very strict pattern he's doing there. So we have this. And then just repeat that. Now after the second little bend and release there in this breakdown section, he goes, he always have the high E with these notes, but you're gonna pick 4, slide to 5, then pick 5, slide to 7, and then pick 7, slide to 9, and then when you get to 9, you're gonna start this little thing with some double stops, which is just the 9th fret there on the G string and the 9th on the B. Just straight down strokes, kind of palm muted too, and then resolve that down to the 8th fret there on the G string while keeping the 9 on the B. Just go between those two. So you go between those two 3 times. And then on the 4th time, just take the 2 9s and start slowly bending them up. Real fun stuff. All right, and then we just get to the those verse chords just repeated, 4 times, leading us back into the chorus. All right, so that's about it for all the parts. Like I said, there's not a lot of, Foo Fighters usually have a lot of guitar parts on their songs, but this one, they gave us a break, and it's a fun song to play, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.